In the Pacific Northwest, thousands celebrate the 4th of July by taking the ferry from Seattle to Bainbridge Island.
Here comes the parade. I told you it was going to happen.
The Grand Old Fourth is an orderly Independence Day parade sponsored by local businesses and the Chamber of Commerce. Bainbridge Island is like most small towns on the 4th of July. Friends and families gather after the parade for their own picnics and parties. But if you want fireworks, you'll have to travel a bit further. Follow the highway to the other end of Bainbridge and cross a small bridge to the Port Madison Indian Reservation, home of the Suquamish Nation. Here you'll be able to find just about any pyrotechnic you desire. In this corner of Indian country, it's not called the 4th of July. It's called fireworks season. And every Independence Day, the waterfront village of Suquamish explodes.
It's pretty much like a Mardi Gras or something, you know, with fireworks, with danger. The slab on the 4th of July is a war zone. They shoot off every firework they got in the world on the 4th of July. It's a sight to see, but not be too close to.
I don't really like it that much down at the slab because there's too many fireworks running around. And with all the bottle rockets that are flying around down there, whew, my hair would be up in flames.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
One side. Something's going off down there, they come up here. You got that right here. You know, you feed the frenzy, you know.
We used to say you were some kind of anarchist or something if you wouldn't celebrate the 4th of July. We encouraged you to celebrate the 4th of July.
Indian area.
Need to start framing the wall. 36.
These new guys that are just starting up thinking they're going to get all kinds of money, man. They think if they just move in here, they're going to make $5,000, you know?
Yeah.
Not if you ain't got the clientele.
It's all about money. It's always been about that. You gotta chase it, constantly.
I used to be the proprietor, but now I'm the lowly grunge.
Some of the people that have been coming here for years, you know, they actually look for us. They tell us they wouldn't buy at any other stand but ours.
If I didn't understand this business, I could go down real fast and end up with a whole stand full of fireworks or an empty stand and no profit and no money to pay bills.
My wife talked me into it. This is our first year, so we're just trying to learn the business, learn what sells.
This is an investment, and like any investment, either you're going to make a profit or you're not.
We're dealers at the casino, so we're not going to get paid for these 2 weeks we took off, so we're really kind of taking a little chance here. So our butts are hanging on this stand actually right now.
Okay, this rope is going to actually come way down to the ground here, but you're going to keep it tight and then it won't go into the road. You're going to pull yours tight, Buns. That's probably plenty tight there, Buns. That's good. And you can go ahead and let yours down, Kelly. More, more, more. Now, here's the zippy tie. This goes right here.
Within the state of Washington, there's 26 recognized tribes, all of them selling fireworks.
We can't let it touch the ground or we'd have to destroy it.
In this particular area, we have, to the east, we have Muckleshoot. To the north, we have Tulalip. To the south, we have Suquamish. To the north, we got Port Gamble Band of Squalums, Jamestown Band.
Coming up.
So there's tons of local reservations that are all doing the same thing.
And then as high as you can go, Kelly will tie it off.
And we're just trying to say, well, and if you're in this area, buy fireworks here. Fireworks is kind of funny business because a lot of people don't have experience in it. They say, well, is it legal? Well, what's legal? All the fireworks that I sell are legal through the Consumer Product Safety Commission Common Class C fireworks. So what we do is we sell them. They're perfectly legal for us to sell them. They're perfectly legal for you to light them off. But if you take them away from this reservation, then it's your job to find out what's allowed in the jurisdiction. Okay, so let's look at what's new this year. I see the first thing is Grim Reaper.
42 shots, or 42 explosions.
Yeah, that's nice. Those are going to be nice. I got a list here also that Tina had put together. The warrior, the samurai, the warlord, the emperor, Genghis Khan, pagoda temple, and the ninja. Okay, now specialty firecrackers. Great Grizzly Crackling Bomb, Ball Buster, Dixie Whistler, Whistling Color Cuckoo.
You get 10% on this first order, you know.
The main difference between this fireworks stand and a corporate fireworks stand is that the Boy Scouts, the Kiwanis, the Rotary clubs that run fireworks stands, the fireworks company will actually come in and front the fireworks to them, and when the season is over, they will come back and take the fireworks back. In this, we buy the fireworks, we own the fireworks. If the season ends and we still have the fireworks, we still have the fireworks.
Must be right. Came out the same way both times.
You just take the gamble. Are you big badass? No.
Big badass, yes.
You have big badass?
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend is our first weekend. We're just hoping to open our doors and let people know that we're here.
Here's the one single case of predators. You might want to leave this out where you can find it.
I'm glad I'm not doing what they're doing. I think it's the worst job is the initial stocking of shelves. 400 cases of fireworks you have to open, price, and set in its place. And that'll barely even put bare bones on the walls. And then in the next couple days we'll get more truckloads and then open them up, put them on the shelf, Like I get nervous. I don't know if anybody else does, but we were 8 windows our first year and now we've added 9 more over the last couple. So we've doubled, in the last 4 years. My dad's always like, build it, they will come. Let's hope so.
Oh, you're fired.
On this little stretch of highway, there are 5 jurisdictions. From Agate Pass Bridge, the city of Bainbridge Island, the city of Paulsbo, the Suquamish tribe, the county of Kitsap, and the Washington State Department of Transportation. 5 separate government entities on one piece of road. And we've had these little arguments. They say, let's make this a no-access road. Indian country says, no, we have to have access on this road. It's important to the economy of the reservation. And if you're selling fireworks out here, you get a little bit better traffic flow. About 1.5 miles away down in the village of Suquamish, there's 10 stands down there, and everybody down there will probably make a little bit of money. Go out throughout Indian country and you'll see some people lose their money. Depends on how well it's managed, how well you work it. There's one fireworks wholesaler that will take the title to your cars, in exchange for promissory notes. You don't want to quit your day job.
This is our reservation wholesale program. And so the main customer base for this end of the business is our Native American customers in the state of Washington. When somebody walks in here, we need to check, first of all, that they have tribal identification. Then the other thing is that they have a permit to sell fireworks that was issued from their tribe. You can sell rockets and firecrackers to them for sale on their tribal land, trust land, federal land. We'll go as far south as the Columbia Basin down to the Yakima Reservation, as far north as the Lummi, east over up north there to Nooksack, Suquamish, Suquamish, Chehalis. We've even gone to the Macaws, Muckleshoots over in Auburn, and probably neglecting somebody.
we should be fine with $1,000 bucks. I think $1,000 we'll have the shelves just looking cherry. Okay. 15, 24, 60. That's fine. 45.
You're not gonna get any more sparklers?
9-inch fountains. 2 of those, and that's at $49, so $98 right there.
What about this Moon Festival? And it has parachutes in it.
No.
66.
Then we'll get a case of the Big Badass.
So you're gonna add this or not?
Yeah.
Can't wait to get this hustle on.
That's almost $900.
It was 12 years ago. I worked here for my brother, and I was just a stock boy. And then finally I decided to do it myself. That was like 6 years ago. And out of them 6 years, I probably had 4 years of, you know, good fireworks. I've had 2 bad years, but you take the good with the bad, you know. This is my brother, Melvin. My baby brother. All right, what'd you bring? He's a master baker. What are these?
Cream cheese and blueberry pastries.
Are they fat-free?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's the first family member that bought a house of all. I'm really proud of him. But the success of this stand depends upon me and what my actions and what I do. I mean, it's a financial gain that happens once a year for me. It's something we can do and nobody else can do, and I like that.
You got cigarettes, Shorty?
Yeah. It's like Christmas to the Indians. Now, that's the way I look at it. I'm not at the top of the food chain on this thing. I'm kind of toward the bottom. But hey, I'm happy with it. As long as I make enough to enjoy my summer, I'm happy.
I started fireworks when I first moved here. It was extra money to travel, and I used that to give my kids experience of traveling around the country or even going home to where I come from. I'm Canadian, and to me, that's bringing them into looking at true history as to what our people are like today, what our people were like when they were kids, and how we lived. As a young person, I could go in the backyard and get a deer if we were out of meat and utilize the whole venison. We may have picked ferns, we may have fished, we did clams, we did this and that, but it was only to the extent of need. It was not greed. It was not in a capitalistic manner where we could make this much money.
My whole life was the powwow trail.
Go down there, put the bottom down there first.
And I guess his was too, because his grandma loved going to same powwows that we like going to.
You gotta go in the middle. That's
Okay, hold it up.
Okay.
I want it dropping on my head. And then, you know, when you're young, you know, you're just kids. All you're doing is running around outside, you know. So that's how we met. I'm trying to get it in the middle, like you said.
No, put the bottom in there.
Okay. It was in 1990 when I moved back here to Washington. At that time, I wanted to know more about Jesus. And that's the same time Mo, you know, gave his life to Jesus too. But he didn't even know how to pronounce some of the books in the Bible. Like he used to call Leviticus Levits, and Exodus, he used to call it Exorcist, and you know, just things like that. He just didn't know anything about the Lord. You know, I've seen him grow, and I know that there's been preachers that make the comments like, I'd like to preach like Mo, you know. So, you know, his preaching is, you know, you could tell that the Lord is really in it. To be a believer in Jesus Christ and to be born again is a way of life. And as far as like my culture, you know, the Native American people's always been spiritual people, and we've always been a prayerful people.
Okay, I made $2 today. One of the dollars I made was on a tuna fish sandwich I sold to one of my fellow stand members. So we're making progress today. I can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm really excited. We made $7 a day. The day's getting better.
This is Dream Cruiser, and what it is, it starts off half mountain, and then it takes off a flying.
Fireworks has always been an in-your-face defiance to the state of Washington, the county of Kitsap, and these other folks.
You guys are way too easy. You guys are way too easy.
Because of local jurisdiction and local options, they have determined which fireworks they want to have legal and which they don't want to have legal. But we are legal under federal guidelines. So that puts us as a little island in the middle of these other places. There are other islands out there in the world. Monte Carlo, the Vatican. There's these little municipalities that are sometimes smaller than the entire reservation of Port Madison that are enjoying certain governmental privileges or governmental recognition of being a sovereign nation. And in Indian country, we all recognize each other as sovereigns.
For the most part, I'll do some reading until my eyes get heavy, and I'll play what's that? I'll play that game for a little while. When we were younger, we used to all love to night watch. I mean, it was just a fun-ass thing to do. It was like a big old slumber party, all the guys, all night watching together. That was Memorial Day weekend, May 27th. You know, we're all hanging out and having fun. That was the night that my brother died in a car accident. And at about 2 or 3 in the morning, my dad, my mom, and Faith pounding on the door. They were screaming, you know, Tana's dead, Tana's dead, Tana died. And, you know, just world of confusion. But it's just crazy because, you know, that's a night watchman story. That was, when I was younger, I was 13, hanging out having a slumber party. Then getting with that, you know, not understanding what death is and what, you know, what that was all about. But that's the last time I saw my brother was at that stand. That I think about most when I watch is getting news like that again.
So the kids were giving me static. They say all the signs were looking too shabby. They were saying, come on, buy some new plywood, would you? And some of this plywood has sentimental value to me. It's been around me a long time. I just whited out a bunch of them and kind of freshened some up. Run new white on them, run new red on them. Like if I can find a hammer, I was going to put one more up today and then call it a day. I left the reservation in about 64, 65, and all the time that we lived in San Francisco, every time my mother got a 2-week vacation, we came back to the reservation. We came home to Suquamish. I graduated from high school in 1969. I spent 2 years of college and then a year just knocking around San Francisco. It was at about those same times that the takeover of Alcatraz was happening, the siege at Wounded Knee, the Trail of Broken Treaties. All these Indian movement things were happening in the early 70s that told me that it was time to come back home. I get emotionally attached to my flags too. Some of these flags are 20 years old and the kids and Tina, they tell me about it all the time. Get rid of the flags, Dad. Our reservation is a checkerboard reservation, so it has some non-Indian residents that through the Indian Allotment Act, some of our land has been alienated, and that means that non-Indians have the right and have purchased property within our boundaries of our reservation.
Because this land looks like any other land, by saying entering Port Madison Indian Reservation, you would at least understand that you are now within the exterior boundaries of the reservation. I still think those are artificial lines because this is not where we were and not what our usual and accustomed gathering grounds and where we used to go fish and hunt and clam dig. We had a very, very rich environment here. We weren't a starving people. The natural resources here in Suquamish were wonderful and still are.
Oh.
As a small boy, the Suquamish Chief Sealth witnessed the arrival of the first white explorers in 1792. By the time Puget Sound was being settled, he had established himself as an important leader. Settlers called him Seattle and named the young city in his honor. But by the 1850s, Chief Seattle realized that the U.S. government intended to seize the land of his ancestors and settle his people on reservations. The alternative was war. According to the 1855 Treaty of Point Elliott, in exchange for ceded land, the Suquamish were guaranteed $25,000, hunting, fishing, and trade rights, and the Port Madison Reservation for their exclusive use. Then, in 1887, the United States Congress passed the General Allotment Act. Suquamish families were moved onto individual allotments away from their waterfront villages. Children were forced into strict boarding schools and forbidden to speak their native language. All non-Christian religion was also banned. By 1934, the policy of general allotment successfully removed 90 million acres from tribes throughout the United States. In Suquamish, over half the Port Madison Reservation is now owned by non-Indians.
I leave my house at about 5:30 in the morning and I get home at 5:30 at night. So it takes 12 to get 8. But riding the ferry every day is a pretty relaxed commute. And I'm able to live on the reservation and still work in the city. I take a few days off to do fireworks, but my family has been doing fireworks for so long that everybody knows that we all have to combine our effort. Between my personal vacation and the vacation that I need to take care of tribal business and the vacation that I need to take care of fireworks business, that I have to be very prudent with my time that I take off. But I fill the rest of my time, so I'm pulling my share of the fireworks load the evening times and the weekends, because my family fills in the gaps the rest of the time. It's a combined effort of the whole family that makes it a successful operation.
Working on Northeast 60th Street, you can have block 50 on F3 direct.
For Armstrong 50 F3 direct. Thanks.
Even though I was drawn into alcoholism and drawn into the negativeness of life, I also knew I had to survive and I knew I had to work. So I looked at myself and I said, I could outdo that. I could do better than that.
In this point in my life, I wear 3 different hats in my job, which is actually working for the state, being an advocate for people that don't have any advocates, that are homeless and down and out and feel that they have no support systems. And I also run a homeless shelter for the homeless Native Americans, which is a gratification on my part.
Outstanding, Warren. You got any?
Too many.
People, of course, would stereotype them, say, why are you helping these people that aren't helping themselves? But they actually are helping themselves. To me, that's a difference between other populations that have flourished and grown, where our development of personal relationships was taken away from us. It's slowly coming back, but the destruction of our society as a group of people is devastating, really.
I'm not a pillar of the community. I'm not a role model either, so I try to do the best I can. And just like my father, he did everything. He drove truck, taxi cab, steel work. I bust ass here for a month and a half, and I can enjoy the summer, you know. I like that. Because I used to work in Seattle, you know, longshoreman, throwing 100-pound bags. I did it for 7 years. I'd commute back and forth every day to make $100 a day, and I thought that was a lot of money. And once I came back to the res and saw that there was potential for my own business, just as in fishing, just as in cutting wood, clam digging, you know, same thing with fireworks. You're your own boss. You got to work harder sometimes, but once you finish what you're doing, you can enjoy yourself, you know. And I invest the money that I make. You know, you got to spend money to make money. Like I got to buy another truck so that when this winter comes, I'll be able to handle all the firewood.
That's all the work I'm doing today.
Hey, here's our Cadillac bottle rocket, triple whistle. This one here is the number one.
That's what they make it past Suta.
Yep. The old Suda Buddha, he knows all the number ones, that's for sure.
But this is me and Suta. He was probably about 3 years old there. And then this one here, well, actually, I'll hold them both up. This is my grandfather on my dad's side, George Bullchild. And as you could see, they all carried on, you know, their dress and everything, you know, like teepees. I grew up in a teepee. It was just a way of life, and it still is. You go back home right now, and you could see horses riding down Main Street, you know. My dad, his name was Long Time Standing, but his, you know, the white man name was Percy Bullchild the second. And he wrote a book called The Sun Came Down. And it was published just before his death in '85. They compared him to Hans Christian Andersen. It was published by Harper and Collins. But he tells the whole story on 3 buckskin hides, just like this, like the way that is there. Our reservation goes clear up to the Canadian border. And it's shrunk, you know, since the white man came in. And the culture is different from the coastal people. So, but I still carried on. I carried on with my children and my grandchildren. I teach them the Blackfeet language, and I want to carry that on, you know, until my death, and hopefully somebody else will carry it on too. There's many photographs of him, but that's my grandpa. We inherited his land, and, you know, we have his name, White Calf. He was the last chief. He met the president. I don't know what president, but, you know, back in his day. That's the one that's on an Indian head nickel.
We've got everything in common, but nothing to talk about. Lately words are hard to come by. Every now and then we make that silly the devil can be by my side. But sometimes life comes on too strong. And sometimes things just work out wrong till something better comes along. Something
hopefully it'll pick up more today. We're hitting that plateau. We were up late last night too. I think it was like 4, you know. I think we were all in a anxiety moment. We all had money on the line. You know, and we have a brand new house, and we got kind of nervous here. But, you know, we sat down and ran through the figures, ran through what the customers were asking for.
You think you're going to have a good weekend?
I'm really hoping. We're hoping. If this weather clears up, maybe we will.
They always get the 2nd of July nerves, particularly the green peas, the new guys. You know, there's big investment. For some of these people down there, it's a lot of money invested. Whole paychecks, you know, are we going to make the house payment? Are we going to make the car payment? That's why they're of course they're nervous. They got their whole paycheck involved in fireworks instead of, you know, next week's car payment. You going to make your car payment next week, Nigel?
Definitely.
Only because we're working here?
They'll make all their money in one day. We'll make all of our money in one day.
This is only like my 2nd year working here, so it's kind of cool to be behind, working under the chairman. You know, he's a real smart, real businessman. I love watching him out there charm all those people, you know, charm them into spending, you know, a whole lot of money, and they're getting a great deal, of course, so they're happy, but it's just amazing, you know, such a great businessman. And he's an Indian too.
Right now on this reservation, a waterfront house will go for $500,000 to $1 million. How can a Suquamish tribal member ever expect to live on the water the way he used to when all the real estate values are up that high? The Suquamish tribe right now buys vacant parcels of land whenever it can afford to, that happen to be within the exterior boundaries of the reservation. Will we ever be able to buy it all back? Maybe it will take us 350 years, but it only took 100 years for it to get taken away from us in the first place. All the lands that were ceded by the Suquamish in the Treaty of Point Elliott have not been compensated for. They have never given us a dime for any of the lands that were ever taken. So it's always funny to hear people talk about title transfers and held in trust and all this stuff when these people are dealing in land that was stolen. Point blank. We were overtaken by the United States government in their expansion across this land. So we enjoy a dual citizenship, if you will. We get to be citizens of the Suquamish Nation and citizens of this entity now what we call the United States. And you say, how can you wear two hats? How can you possibly do that? In exchange for our lands, the ceded lands, there were certain treaty rights guaranteed to us. You said that you were going to do this, and we said that we were going to do this. Who's upholding their end of the bargain?
Well, see,
What's wrong with ours? They have a right of way.
They have a right of way,
We're all in
and
the right
the right of way, the county property goes to right
We
here.
gotta do everything we're getting.
We don't have to pay attention to that. We're kids are
There's been a way of life in Suquamish. It's just unreasonable. Somebody ate a can of sour worms or some darn thing, you know.
What's the deal? Everybody's coming down. We're going to make a stand. We're going to have a powwow.
The county says we're in impediment to traffic and that we're encroaching on a fog line that has never ever been painted. They gave us until 3 o'clock today or they will bring bulldozers down.
Okay, so they want you to move down below.
They want to put us over there in the...
Over there.
Well, it says a slab, so that means that area there.
Yeah.
They don't want to put them over there because that's a war zone during the forest.
Hey, this is Tiananmen Square. I'm the Chinese guy standing in front of the tank.
That's what these guys have all been saying. We're the Tiananmen Square. I wouldn't move.
It's up to the tribe whether the tribe's going to give in or not.
That one down there, he is kind of close to the road.
I think it's a country within a country. States are given sovereign status. Some cities and towns are given sovereign status. This is an Indian reservation. The term reservation implies that these lands are reserved for Indians. Okay, that's pretty simple.
All 3 of these are
So the treaty, is it the supreme law? Sometimes common sense makes more sense than the treaty.
Solve problems, don't argue.
So right now we're kind of in a compromised position. The tribe takes care of its own, the county takes care of its own on this mixed reservation that we live on.
There's a sound that I hear in the neighborhood where I live, and they don't play the same game like the way that I did. 'Cause the bad guys got real good, and the heroes can't fight back, and I feel like you're the only one that doesn't get much slack, but I know it's gonna be alright tomorrow.
At 9:30 on the 4th, we'll be condensing into 2 windows, and you'll be just drained. You've been on your feet. You've added up, thousands of numbers just in your head, trying to make deals and stuff. You've seen thousands of different faces and people, and you know nothing about them. You're just trying to make them have a happy 4th with the best deal. They'll remember you and come back next year to see you. You just can't believe it's like all that stuff is gone. That big old window is full of firecrackers, is gone. About 3 weeks ago, we were outside the grocery store. This gentleman was trying to ask us to sign a petition. And he said, "Do you own property?" I was like, "I don't, she does." He's like, "All right, you pay property tax?" She's like, "No." He goes, "How do you do that?" And we looked at each other at the same time. We said, "We were here first." And he didn't get it. They don't understand that we were here first and we're still here. Then Bainbridge is a whole nother story, because there's a bridge there, but that ferry boat's much closer to Seattle than that bridge is to Suquamish, and that bridge is huge. We walk in both worlds at all times, whether how much we know about who we are as Indian people and how much we live that lifestyle of every day. This is who I am. You spend enough time with us, you think you know us. We'll talk about you. He thinks he knows us.
You know what a Christian does when he accepts Jesus Christ into his heart and he's born again and he's saved? You know what happens? That means you are guaranteed a way into the kingdom of God. But first you have to reject this old flesh. You have to deny yourself and go on and do what Jesus Christ came into this world to do. He came into the world to save souls. He came to the vilest of sinners to save them. He came to me.
Just as I am, thou wilt receive, wilt welcome pardon, cleanse, relief, because thy promise I believe, O Lamb of God.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for all your many blessings. I thank you for the truth, for the light. Pray, Lord, down there at the fireworks stand, dear Heavenly Father, that even if there's just one soul that is led to you, the whole thing is worth it. For you will show us when we get to heaven that that soul was found.
Happy 4th of July, huh? Are you being taken care of, sir? Good deal.
This has an assortment of the butterfly and cluster bee, Danny's favorites. These are obnoxious, screaming rattlers.
$200. All right, I'll do that. All right.
After 450 years of oppression, why do we sell fireworks? To celebrate the birth of a country that has been oppressing the Indians.
Screech bombs.
I was thinking about this morning, I have 6 uncles and 4 aunts.
Very loud. Yeah. And they're called screech bombs.
I think there was only a couple of my uncles that did not fight in World War II. I have another uncle that was involved in the Korean conflict. My brother was involved in Vietnam. We have some young fellers that have been in Desert Storm. The historical Navajo code talkers that did so much to help the World War II effort.
We're all out of the magic crystals.
Through our natural resources across this whole land, through Indians that have given up timber, iron, aluminum, whatever it takes to mount that war effort, those resources usually came off of reservations or lands that were ceded by Native Americans.
Bottle rockets, firecrackers, and rockets. That's all, yeah. So I got a, oh yeah, and I have some fountains in the stand. Hey, look at over there. That's my nephew. They dressed him up as a firecracker.
What do you think about the 4th of July, man?
Sucks.
What?
Now people light up fireworks. It sucks. That was loud.
Yep.
My ears are feeling funny.
With 4 days to go, I say, I'm never going to do this again. And Tina always says, we're never going to do this again. And then we take a year break and then we do it again. When I was working a job at a furniture factory on Bainbridge Island for $6 an hour, and I had 4 children at home, fireworks for a couple of months a year give me a little bit of the financial security that I need to nurture my family. As any of the capitalism entities out there, we're here to make this a successful business, and we're here to make some money. Because it seems like the money allows us to take the financial time off to work to pursue some of the cultural activities. That's the bonus parts.
What are these going for?
$10.
$10. You guys are on your way out, man.
$10. What's the offer? Make me a reasonable offer. What are we talking about here?
I'd say $7.
$7? Are you out of your mind? I'll take it. See you next time, huh? No, but that's why when we go to Washington, D.C., and when we deal with non-Indians, counties, cities, and different entities, we talk about sovereignty and what sovereignty means to us, and about self-determination and about economic independence. This is the closing. This will be it. And that's what fireworks and some of the treaty rights give us the independence, the economic independence to compete in this world. The same life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that the United States citizen gets to enjoy. Do we get to enjoy that? Is that sovereignty? What is your definition of sovereignty?
I lost the radio.
We started about 20 years ago lighting some extra shells or something that we had. If we didn't sell them, then we'd take our families down there and light fireworks. Well, it slowly but surely grew, and it turned into kind of a huge block party. Now what happens is that all the families from all over, Indian, non-Indian, all bring stuff down there, and it turns into kind of a free fire zone.
This boy's got about 50 multiple shot aerials wrapped with firecrackers and magic whips and artillery shells. And you light it all off at once, and it goes berserk. And it just lights up the sky, and it's loud, and it's the shit.
This is going off by itself. I don't want anything else to go out with it. This is all orchestrated just like Texas Cyclones, in between everyone with the spinners. Then you got your reports here, and your color.
This day, this is like a miracle. This is just great. One day it was storming, what, Friday, Saturday, and now freedom, Independence Day. I think, you know, you get to a point in your life where you make steps and then you just go to another plateau. This is great.
It was amazing how much people just, they were wowed by it. They're gonna talk about this. You should have been at the slab. They left away with something that can't be bought, you know.
Are you gonna do it again next year? Yes, we're gonna do it better next year. They'll be a lot better next year.
Where are we going to be in 100 years? Where are we going to be in 200 years? Is the Suquamish tribe still going to be here under its present status? One of our favorite sayings is, what did the old Indians used to do? The old Indians used to do this here, do that there. That's the way the old Indians would do it. And now we're this Indian right now, and what Indian are we going to be next week? You know, it's an evolving thing.
This is a Suquamish slalom effort. It's both tribes on our way to Victoria. The name of the canoe is the Tana Stopes, in honor of our son Santana Lee Ives, who's buried up in the cemetery right here. He will be with us in spirit today to give us a safe journey to Victoria.